The offseason is coming to a close and the NBA season is right around the corner. So, in honor of the NBA season almost starting, I've decided to give my playoff predictions. Now this will be split into two videos, Western Conference and Eastern Conference. The Western Conference predictions will come today and the Eastern Conference predictions will come tomorrow. So, without further ado, let's get into my Western Conference playoff predictions. Let's start off with the 8th seed in the Western Conference, and my pick for the 8th seed is the Denver Nuggets. Now, the reason that I put them at number 8 is because they were just out of the playoffs last year. However, they have the same team and a healthy Paul Millsap this year. He wasn't really healthy for them last year, so I think he could be the difference this year between them making the playoffs and them not. So, at number 8, I have the Denver Nuggets. At the number 7 seed, we have a highly controversial team, and I've seen these guys be put as high as the 4th seed or 3rd seed even, but I have them at number 7, and it is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, they have probably one of the best young cores, plus Jimmy Butler in the NBA with Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins. They used to have Zach LaVine, but now it's Jimmy Butler, so they have a really nice core, but according to a lot of news reports, it's just the motivation there. I think that their talent will be good enough for them to make the playoffs this year, but I don't see them being higher than a 7 seed, maybe a 6 seed if they're lucky, but at number 7, we have the Timberwolves. Next up, at the 6th seed, we have the San Antonio Spurs. And this team has been given a lot of disrespect, in my opinion, when it comes to predictions, because a lot of people don't even put them in the playoffs. I think they will be at least a 6 seed, if not higher, but the 6 seed is what I have them at right now for my predictions. With LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan, and a variety of good role players, plus the best coach in the NBA, Greg Popovich, I don't see how this team couldn't be in the playoffs. DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge are both all-star caliber players. I'm pretty sure DeMar DeRozan will make the all-star team this year, and LaMarcus Aldridge, I'm not sure if he will because he plays in the West, but he's an all-star type of talent for sure. So at number 6, I have the San Antonio Spurs. At the 5th seed, I have the Utah Jazz, who are personally my second favorite team, with Donovan Mitchell, who is probably my favorite player in the NBA right now. And with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert leading the way, I think that the Jazz are definitely going to be a playoff team this season. But I'm not sure that they will do much better than last season. That's why I have them at the 5th seed, which is where they were last season. They have good role players, but they didn't really add anybody new besides Grayson Allen. They kind of just kept the guys that they had. And don't get me wrong, Rudy Gobert is the best defensive big man in the NBA, maybe equal to Anthony Davis, and Donovan Mitchell obviously was a Rookie of the Year candidate, and these guys are my second favorite team, but I don't think that they have enough talent to be in the top half of the Western Conference playoffs, so that's why I have them at number 5. At number 4, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, they had the same team from last year, minus Melo, and Melo really wasn't that big of a difference like a lot of people anticipated he would be. So I have these guys at number 4, the Thunder. Russell Westbrook, obviously, triple-double machine. Paul George, one of the best small forwards in the league. And I have them at number 4. I don't really see them being real contenders unless Paul George and Russell Westbrook can average 60 points per game, which is unlikely, obviously. So at number 4, the Thunder. At number 3, I have the Los Angeles Lakers, and this is probably the most controversial pick on my whole list, putting the Lakers at number 3, a team that wasn't even in the playoffs last year, a team that probably wasn't even in playoff contention last year, but with LeBron, plus the many veterans they added like JaVale McGee, Lance Stevenson, and Rajon Rondo. I know those guys aren't huge difference makers, but they do help. LeBron James does not miss the playoffs. And in the Western Conference, I think he knows he has something to prove. I don't think that he thinks he's going to win a title because that's just unrealistic. but I think he will be putting up some big numbers this year. And like I said, plus the veterans that they added, and plus Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, the young players that they have, I think that this is an interesting mix of players. But I think that if they can play together, they have a lot of good players who can pass the ball. Lonzo Ball, Rajon Rondo, LeBron James, 3 of the better passers in the NBA. LeBron James probably the best passer in the NBA. I think this team will be very interesting. And if Brandon Ingram can live up to the hype that has been around him since he entered the league, I think that the Lakers are a lock for a top 3 seed in the West. Next up at the number 2 seed, we have the Houston Rockets. And I think that the Houston Rockets are actually legit contenders for the title this year. Now, I know that they didn't really make many changes besides adding Melo, who really most people don't think he'll do good. But I think that Melo could have a good season with the Rockets. He's in a Mike D'Antoni offense, which is very offensive minded, which is the type of player that Melo is. So I think that he could have a career season if he's willing to buy into the system. Also, I think that Marquise Chris, if he can make a difference coming off the bench, if he can put up some good numbers for a backup power forward, I think he's a big difference maker. And also Brandon Knight, who they got in the Suns trade along with Marquise Chris. He could be a nice combo guard off the bench for the Rockets. These guys have a lot of offensive, high-powered players, and with Chris Paul healthy this year, they could be a threat to the Warriors, guys. But at number 2, Houston Rockets. Last but not least, you guessed it, the Golden State Warriors. Who doesn't have them as the number 1 team in the Western Conference and the number 1 team in the NBA? Unless you've been living under a rock for the past 5 years, you probably know that the Warriors are locked for the number 1 seed and probably going to win another championship this season. Now, I know I said that the Rockets could contend with them. Contend does not mean I think that they will beat them. I still think that the Warriors will win another championship if they can get past the Rockets, which I think is more likely than not. They're the defending champs. They have 2 MVPs on their team in Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Klay Thompson is one of the best role players in the NBA. Draymond Green, one of the best defensive players in the NBA. And I haven't even mentioned that they added the best center in the league, DeMarcus Cousins, to their team. Kind of depressing to think about now that I'm saying it out loud, but their team is absolutely scary. If you've seen their 2K ratings, it's absolutely ridiculous. They're just as overpowered in 2K as they are in real life, if not more. The only thing that I could see maybe happening that could ruin the Warriors is if Boogie decides to be a locker room nuisance, if he decides to be the most selfish player in the world and ruins their chemistry. But I really don't see that happening. I don't see the Warriors letting that happen. I think that Boogie might not be as good as he was before. I don't think he will be the same best center in the NBA that he was before. But it's the Warriors, dude. They're going to win again. I'm just going to stop talking about them. Please leave your thoughts on my list and also leave your predictions for the Western Conference playoffs. Also remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks.